Okay, today's video we're going to talk about social media, influencer businesses, if you want to call it that. Anymore, it really is a business. Being an influencer through social media, you could sell people and do sell all kinds of stuff. They obviously could sell ad space through Google AdSense if you're like on YouTube. You could sell shout outs. You can do affiliate sales of certain products. You can get tips. You can get donations of money. You could sell merch. There's like all these things. What I'm going to do is tell you an alternate way if you're getting into the business, if you will, or you're already in it, how you can make a lot more money. How I've seen personally several other people do a different style of monetization of their audience, if you will, or just in ways to monetize or generate revenue for their business. That's you have a lot more potential, upwards of 100 times more potential than you would have just by selling, advertising by itself. At least and don't attack me, Google, through Google AdSense. Not to say you can't do that stuff, but if you want to build and get super successful without having to have millions and millions and millions of subscribers, which if you have that, you're going to make money anyway. How you can make a lot of money with a lot fewer subscribers, or in general, as a proportion of subscribers to revenue, you'll have a lot more. Respectively, you probably have heard other people tell you, so it's not a revelation, that if you want to have a real business behind your influencer business, if you will, because, and we'll state the obvious here, if your social influencer, or if your rankings or your amount of impressions or exposure you're getting through the social networks dips, you've got a real business running behind it that you built up. Respectively, I'll tell you, obviously, if you drop off the face of the planet, even if you do have a back-end business, that'll eventually dry up because, people will forget about you. So in a way, that's why I don't like social media businesses per se. But what I'm going to share with you here is how to use PPC ads to supercharge the audience and sales that you're getting from your audience, and also another way to actually monetize what you have through selling products instead of just selling the advertising itself, the shout outs, that kind of stuff. Combine those two in a way that whether your traffic goes up or down, you're way less dependent on what the algorithm ultimately is doing for you, and how much it by itself is going to determine how much money you make, and actually will create a physical infrastructure. You're going to reinvest and you'll reinvest some of the money you're making back into building this up, which will generate more revenue, and at the end of this, you'll have some actual hard, tangible business assets that even if you had no traffic, yes, you will be going for a lot longer afterwards. But in general, we're not going to assume your traffic will go to zero. You're going to keep putting out content. You're not going to get banned. And as your traffic fluctuates up and down, your revenue won't, and you'll just be getting a higher amount of revenue to traffic as you have now on top of it all. Okay? So that's the nuts and bolts of this. I'm going to go through what the strategy is, how to do it, so you can walk away with actual actionable information to be able to do this, set up a business for yourself. If you're wondering the best way to get into business this way, like I said, we'll cover that, as well as how to amplify what you're doing right now in your social media influencers business. So what I'm going to share with you is stuff that I've also just personally seen on YouTube, and also clients that I've worked to enhance what they're doing, specifically using a PPC component, and what I saw that they were doing that was successful, even though I'm not in the social media influencer business directly anyway here. I am obviously making these videos here, but what they're doing to also get a lot more revenue for their same visitors, and also how to send paid traffic to their visitors, which is what this is primarily about, to be able to make the PPC pay for itself and then amplify what they're for coming in. There's two angles. You can get more out of the traffic you have. You can drive more traffic in. We're going to actually get more revenue from both places, one of which coming from a 15-year PPC expert telling you how to drive traffic to the audience that you've built up, and then also what I've seen from my clients, how they've increase the back end of building actual products that will be able to generate more revenue than the advertising itself can potentially for your business. So anyway, most of what the people out there that I've seen making big money in the social influencer space are using this model exclusively. So in other words, out of the people that are making the most money, I see all the people basically doing what I'm about to share with you, so that you could conclude that if you want to make the most money possible, this is the way to do it. In other words, it takes very little budget actually to get into this. Like most of my videos, you could make a ton of money, but it's not, make a ton of money and basically do no work. Because, in life, if it was that easy, it wouldn't be worth doing. It's always about, the big thing is I could take the uncertainty out of the process for you, so it's up to you whether you do it, and it's not that hard, it's just not going to take no work here. So, and it doesn't take much money, which is also removing that barrier. I'm just letting you know that up front. What I'm about to share with you in terms of the traditional way social influencers make money, like I said, can make literally 100 times more revenue than advertising, ad space, or just like the basic selling merch, which everybody does that. And so, yeah, it could generate a little extra side cash, but it's nothing substantial like what I'm about to share is or can be. So anyway, let's get into it. How do you do this? And what is it specifically? So, assuming you're going to do it on YouTube, could obviously be Instagram, could be, any other social network. Technically TikTok as well. A lot of people have TikTok audiences, they don't know how to monetize. This is a way that you can monetize that as well. And so, or even more specifically, TikTok, because very few people, it seems like, know how to monetize that. Specifically because it turns people off doing stuff like you do on YouTube and promoting stuff. This is a nonchalant way to monetize the audience without alienating them. So you build, stating the obvious, you build an audience. You build content, you build an audience. Once you've built a little bit you create content, and then about every 5 or 10 videos you do, most of the people that I've seen blow up always have guest appearances on other directly relevant channels. And then that supercharges the algorithm, drives traffic in. The algorithm learns a little bit more on who to promote your stuff to. And then they do, and then you keep producing content. And then after another 5 or 10 pieces, you get another guest appearance on a slightly bigger channel. And then, in my opinion, that's pretty much the gold standard now. And if you want to be successful, what you should, by default, be thinking about doing. Now, instead of just getting a cut of the advertising that, TikTok gives you or YouTube gives you or whatever, which, like I said, you can do, you create in-depth how-to guides on how to do the stuff on the videos or on the TikTok shares or whatever Instagram shares that you have, or Instagram posts, I should say, that you have. And you sell those with tangible or non-tangible components to them. So in other words, yes, a lot of people out there sell courses. And if you didn't know, the reason why there's more CPM or the most money that can be made really, not the most, but the most, let's say the biggest niche with pretty much the highest revenue also combined, is in the investing space, because there's people who sell courses on how to get rich, basically, with no work. And that, I don't want to say everything like that, but it's a very cheesy market, and people buy these courses a lot, so people make them. And so they make a channel and they sell the course, okay, with questionable quality, we'll just say, generally speaking. And, with that, but it's just all intangible. You get a digital delivery of the product. Now, you can do that, but what it's funny to me is not a lot of people take that model, which is clearly extremely successful in the business opportunity space, and apply it to other markets, which they should. But more so than that, they also don't think, in the business opportunity space, I understand that it doesn't have to necessarily be done, but you could not only take that concept and apply it to other markets and greatly enhance what you're making, but also you can add a tangible element to a physical product in the form of creating a kit to actually that you could physically mail out, which people are willing to pay more for automatically because ultimately there's more done for them. And it's also, it's kind of like, if it's something to hold on to, they're willing, it seems more substantial. So to give you an example of this, for somebody in the cosplay space, so there's a whole niche, and this is nothing sexual here, that dress up like super characters or whatever, just for the fun of it. Adults here we're talking about, and they have, like TikTok, they'll have dedicated channels where they'll dress up and they'll do skits, and then they'll dress up like somebody else and do skits and build up a whole following that way. So in that particular situation, nobody's doing it. I'm just giving you this as an example. You could literally do this exact model, guaranteed to make money, to where you dress up like that thing, and then as you're doing it, you videotape. Okay, step 1, this is how I dressed up like this character. I put this paint on here. Step 2, this is what I did. And so you send that to an editor. They chop it up, and then you basically get somebody with the products that you have. Go and find them on Amazon where you found them. Collect a list of the products and create a kit that shows how to apply the makeup. Could be an all digital kit with the video, the how-to, and where to buy the products. You could make even more money by physically going buy the products and ship out to the consumer a place where they can watch the video, and done for you each of the components, the dress, the makeup that you need, all together in one kit to be able to look exactly like that person did on the video. Going one step further, you can make even more money if once you get it going and you know it's working and all that, you could go to China and say, I want this product. You ship them the product. You say, I want a sample of 100 with my logo on it, and then you make your kit. And so ultimately at that point in time, then if somebody shares that with somebody, they know that they can't just go to Amazon. You'll get a cut from every person who does it in the future, because in your video, you only described how to do it with your system, your product, and therefore they can't replicate it without giving you your cut. So every video that you do, you could be selling a how-to product on how to do that. And that's the fantastic thing about that is while you're making the content, it doesn't take much more time to describe what you're doing in terms of creating a side product that's going to describe how to specifically, because in the video you talk about, like, you might do lawnmower repair and or whatever, laptop repair, and you show how to fix things. Well, why not, while you're fixing it, also do some side takes where you're talking about the steps, like I said, and then when somebody, you can mention in the video, at the end of the video, if you actually want to be able to fix this processor here, I have a small kit here that has the thermal paste and this and this and this, and if you go to my Shopify store, I'll send it to you, and it includes the extra information to do it step by step in the product. Bang, you have a product tied to that video. But so you could see what can be done on the back end to be able to make more revenue there. But the great thing about all this is you can drive traffic to the video, and because that's so profitable now versus selling advertising, you can actually afford to pay for paid traffic to go to the video, have what comes out the other side, make enough money to pay for the video, and now you could have a scalable business behind this. Okay, so you get the general gist there. And with that, part of, in order to get this to be profitable enough to pay for paid traffic coming in, you get the business to, like, and this is an embellishment here. If you get it to where you were doing $1 million a year in sales from your business after creating your product, which it's not that hard. If you create a product basically for most of your videos and you push them in, what you start out, of course, getting accustomed to what you're doing, pushing it in the video itself. Like during the video, you say, here, you can buy this kit, and it's kits on a small site that I've built, like on Wix or something. You get enough volume, okay? Then what I would then say is once you get enough, so in other words, enough volume to have enough customers there, you take that customer and through PPC ads, you can drive them to a ClickFunnels landing page that offers them to do it for you option